This is a demonstration of techniques that are found in the 6 electric guitar solos that make up the portfolio portion of this submission. It is not a performance of these pieces, it is just a demonstration. For demonstration purposes, I will be organizing the techniques according to the piece that they are found in no particular order, just in an order that I think best presents them. The technique that is found in the guitar solos will be performed first. Then similar techniques that inspired the technique in the guitar solo will be performed next. Then the original technique found in the guitar solo will be performed again. The first piece I'd like to discuss is flower. The first technique in flower I'll be discussing is tremolo picking. Here's a demonstration. This can be found many times in rock and metal. One example would be in surf rock. Another genre that can be found in is in metal. I'm going to give you a black metal example because I think it best demonstrates tremolo picking. Something like that. In flower, the big difference is as you can probably hear, is the softness of my attack and the intention of quietness. And because of that, you can actually hear where on the string is being plucked. You can actually hear the pitch of the pick striking the string. Next, I'll be talking about harmonics being plucked with the left hand. Here's a demonstration. A couple of ways that guitars produce natural harmonics is typically with the right hand. So one method is just your basic natural harmonic technique, which is similar to, and then yeah. Sometimes guitars will tap it. This is something Eddie Van Halen does a lot. Another method guitarists like to do is known as a squealy. This was popularized by a guitarist by the name of Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. So what you do is you pluck an open string Then you depress the tremolo bar slightly, and then you fret a node point, and then you let go of the tremolo bar. Often done with distortion. Another method that I've seen is a Swedish guitarist called Matthias E. Uckland. What he'll do is he'll tap with the left hand, like something like that. Again, he'll often use distortion and a little bit of depressing the tremolo bar. But for flower, plucking with the left hand softens the attack, as you can hear, as opposed to and it also frees up my right hand to do it. It just frees it up to do something else. So in flower, it comes out like this. And that's flower. Next I'll be talking about Park and the techniques found in this. First I'll be discussing the muted note melody. So here we are. Muted notes are often found as a percussive technique and not as a melodic technique. Here's what you would typically hear in a single note muted note. Something like that. So oftentimes the pitch doesn't really matter, just as long as you get that percussive effect and as long as it grooves, so to speak. Now I'd like to demonstrate harmonic chords as it appears in Park. Harmonic chords aren't really a new thing. There's countless pieces that use it. I mean, there's a famous example of Steve Howe from Yes in Roundabout, where you go, and there's loads of examples. But the difference is that together with a muted note melody, that's the big key difference. So I'll just play a bit of it, examples together. that's Park. Next I'll talk about reticence and the techniques that can be found in this. The only significant technique that I'd like to talk about is muted notes being plucked by the fretting hand. Oftentimes muted notes are played with the plucking hand while this hand mutes the string. And to mute the string you need at least 2 fingers, otherwise you're going to end up getting on a harmonic. So without going... Next I'll talk about the techniques found in the piece Reticence. And the only technique I'd like to talk about are muted notes in the left hand. Let me give a brief demonstration of that. Oftentimes, most of the time, muted notes are played using the plucking hand, and the fretting hand is doing the actual muting. To mute a note, you have to use 2 fingers usually, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of harmonic. So which makes it more difficult for the left hand. But I found that if I use the left hand, I can, my plucking hand is free to do other things. So in Reticence, it's playing the melody with harmonics. And that's how it's used in Reticence. Next I'll talk about the piece Touch and the techniques that are found in this. First I'd like to talk about the way I approach two-handed guitar playing in Touch. So I'll just give you an example first. Something like that. Tapping, just normal tapping, is pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward, fairly simple. Eddie Van Halen popularized that, and you can find it in countless guitar songs. Van Halen used his fingers to tap. Randy Rhoads liked to use his pick. Something like that. And then there's also 8-finger tapping, which is influential. Granted, I am not the greatest at this technique, but I will give it a shot. Something like that. So again, I'll show how I use it in Touch. Next, I'd like to talk about extended harmonics as they apply to touch. First, I'll just give an example of what I mean. The reason why they're extended is because they use the upper range of the guitar and they're much more precarious to perform. And the reason why they're not used typically is because A, their precarious nature, B, they're not in tune with equal temperament. They use natural tunings because it's natural node points. Sound-wise, they're more like multiphonics. In fact, I think they are multiphonics. So that's why. I don't really have anything to show you of it being found in rock and pop, but again, Matthias E. Uckland has a great demonstration on YouTube in several interviews where he demonstrates this technique and demonstrates the upper range of harmonics. So, yeah. So that's touch. Next, I'd like to talk about scratch, specifically the harmonics and rhythmic scratching being played simultaneously. So this is what I mean. So scratching like this is found all over guitar, around all over guitar playing in rock and pop. But together with harmonics, together with notes happening at the same time, is not often found. So I'll just show you how it appears in scratch again. So that's scratch. And finally, hiding. The main technique in this piece are harmonic chords being downpicked. Let me demonstrate. Now, again, as I had mentioned when I was discussing Park, harmonic chords are nothing new. It's been used countless times in rock, pop, jazz, any of it. But downpicking harmonics hasn't really been used. And I should say, downpicking itself is also nothing new. It's very common in punk and metal. I mean, if you just a demonstration of that. But downpicking, as you can hear, is often used as a very aggressive technique, and I wanted to do the opposite, and that's where hiding comes in. That's where the harmonics come in. So, yeah, I'll demonstrate hiding again. So that was a demonstration of the techniques that are found within this submission, this portfolio submission. And I also demonstrated where they innovated from, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.